Hey folks, I tried going to bed. Even though I'm tired, my brain is just a going. I checked my emails. There's a few more that I need to go through. I'm sorry, folks, for the delay in responding. If I have not responded, please just let me know that you sent one that I have not responded to. So there's been a lot of questions in the emails. And in the comment section, there's a lot of requests, and I will get to them. I promise. Please be patient, and I know you are. So I went to bed, and I just, between the comments and what I'm hearing and what I am thinking, and I'm trying to figure it all out. But who really knows what's happening in this world, right? So there are some that are preparing for a nuclear war, I guess. Not really sure if that is hype or if that is something that's possible, because the way I look at it, if somebody nukes another country, that country is completely destroyed, right? If they wanted to take over that country, it's going to take a lot of money to rebuild. So if they just want to raise havoc and just destroy a country and just have no plans in going in and taking it over, then I could see that maybe they might think they can do that. But if somebody wanted to come here to my country and take it over, I can't see where they would want to use any nuclear. Because that's a lot of rebuild, right? That's a lot of damage, and it's going to take money to do that, and it's going to take time to do that. I think the more rational approach, if somebody wanted to do that, would be something like, sorry, I'm just seeing how hot my camera is getting. All right. Would be to destroy us in other ways, right? Because if they wanted to take over our country, if they wanted our land, like, let's say, farmland, they could just do another disaster, right? Our communications aren't going to be as bad as the electrical grid, though, right? But it could be anything. It could be all of it. Electrical, the power, electrical power grid, communications. It could be the banking system. It could be starving us all, and all they'd have to do is just bury the dead, right? And then they wouldn't destroy the buildings, they wouldn't destroy the farmland, they wouldn't destroy much of anything. So that's just how I think. I don't know, that could be wrong, but that's just how I think. Some people think that the dollar is going to crash. I'm a believer in that, and I can't say it's 100%, but it's just, I have a feeling that's the direction we are going. Because they want that digital, right? So, and who knows what's going on with Russia, Ukraine, China, all the others. Who knows what's going on with that? And we all know that Germany just raised their food prices 20 to 50%, right? Everybody's heard that. That's been out for a little bit. So those people are hurting. And I guess we don't have an Aldi's up here, but I guess Aldi's is a German company. So I suspect their prices will change a little bit. I'm not really sure. So, and when it comes down to prepping and disasters and marauders, and it goes from one extreme to the other. We've got those that just don't have a clue, right? We've got those saying it will never get that bad. They'll always have, just like my other video earlier tonight, there'll always be food. And then you've got those that think the money's going to crash. Then you've got those who think C-19 is making a comeback, right? Because China's in lockdown. Well, part of China is. So, and then you've got those who think it's all out doomsday zombie apocalypse, right? But what does that look like? What does middle of the road look like? Even if we did have food on the shelves, the way things are going, we won't be able to afford much of it, folks, right? So that's another reason to prep. That's another reason to grow your own garden. That's another reason to learn how to forage, how to hunt, how to fish, how to trap, all of that, right? So even the middle of the road, I think that's what we're going to need to do, because there might be food on the shelves, we might not be able to afford it. Now, some people are already struggling, right? Making tough choices. They've been doing that for over a month now, people that I know of. And I'm very careful of my spending. I always have been careful of my spending. But when you are the sole breadwinner and you live alone, everything comes out of your pocket, right? You don't have a significant other, a husband, wife, whatever, to bring home the money, so it's only you. So if you run a homestead, if you're off grid, I'm just saying, on a farm or whatever, and you need to work to bring in some money to pay the bills, but you also need to make sure that you are running your homestead so you can have food as well. So what does it look like? Are there going to be food lines? Are there going to be doling out government food? Are you going to have to protect your livestock? Are you going to have to protect your garden? Are you going to have to protect your family, your house? Now, the reason it got me thinking on this, I think, originally, is I have several motion sensor alarms placed all around my place, so when a predator comes in any direction, it'll alert me inside the house. And depends on which alarm goes off inside the house, I know exactly which direction the predator is coming from, right? And they come in white, and they have an incredibly long range, folks. And they have a low sound and a high sound, the alarm inside the house, okay? And they come white, but you can camouflage them so nobody can see, okay? They're pretty easy to camouflage. So that's how I know the predators come around. But are we going to have to put them up for people when people come around? Right? Are they going to come and raid your house? And I'm talking about people that haven't prepped. They just want something for free. They're hungry. They just want and they need, right? Are we going to have to have those security alarms for people so we know when somebody's coming around at night? Are we going to have to rely solely on what we can forage, what we can hunt, and what we can grow, or what we can raise, right? Are we? And then, there's a whole grain issue, right? Now, a nice young lady said that, I think it was Kimmy, that said that animals really like turnip. Every part of the turnip. So I'm definitely going to, I plant purple top turnip anyway, because I like turnip greens and I like turnip. And they store rather well, right? It's a root vegetable. So I'm gonna see what I can do about getting some more purple top seed, and I'm gonna give that a try, because I already plant zucchini for them, and I plant yellow summer squash, and I plant pumpkins, and they get a lot of remnants from the garden, right? And pumpkins store rather well, really, even up here, into the winter if they're stored correctly. So there's supplemental food. And if you go fishing, you can always bring junk fish home and cook them outside and feed them to the birds, right? So there are other ways to feed your birds. So I just want to know where your thoughts are going. Where do you think we're going? And you know, do you think it's going to be in 6 months, a year, 2 years? I don't know. I don't know. I'm hearing things from all different angles, and you know, the whole, just like you folks, I think it was Lawful Money that says, you know, the way things are going, some of us just don't sleep very well at night. We have a little concern, and we know, we think we know what's coming, and how do we plan for that the best we can? How do we do that? How do we do that? You know, just, you know, I cook on a rocket stove. I call it the camp stove. I guess it's technically a rocket stove, and I will demonstrate how to do that tomorrow. If it's not raining when I get home, I will definitely take that apart and show you how I assemble mine, how I make mine. So I was going to do that this weekend, but tomorrow, if it's not raining when I get home, I will definitely do that for you folks, because there's a little bit of interest there. So, you know, if I had electric, which I don't, but if I had electric and cooked on electric, it's kind of fun cooking on a rocket stove. It's kind of fun experimenting. It's a very inexpensive build, and you might already have the material right in your yard anyway. And you could save on electric by just playing outside on your rocket stove cooking, right? If you have a gas stove, you can save gas by doing the same thing with a rocket stove, right? So, but that's for me, because I live the way I do. My only means of cooking is either on the wood stove or on the rocket stove. So, and I have a grill. But that's propane, and everything's going up, right? So if I can cook with twigs, I'd rather cook with twigs. It just smells better. It just tastes better, and it's kind of fun, and really, it doesn't take any more time cooking on a rocket stove than it does a grill. It's probably faster on a rocket stove, actually. So that's what I'm going to bed thinking of, I guess. I had a fox out here, and the alarm went off, and I knew exactly where it was. It was on the other side of my garden, because that alarm went off, and if one comes from across the road or up the camp road here, I know exactly which direction, and you cannot see any of my alarms. I have disguised them very well, and I've got several of them. So, do you think we're going to need something like that in the future to alert us at night if somebody is coming around? I don't know. Do you need one at night if there is, let's say, a deer walking up the road and you need meat? Maybe, you can't shoot deer after dark, but if you were starving and you needed that meat, it would alert you that something is coming up the road that might be edible to eat, right? So that's where my thought is. I'd kind of like to know what y'all are thinking, and what else keeps you up at night, I guess. What you think about when you go to bed, what you think about when you get up, as far as the whole world thing. Do you get up and watch the news, or go to your favorite channels and see what the latest news is, or you do it at the end of the day, or do you do it throughout the day, or are you learning how to do some of these skills that are kind of fun to learn? Are you prepping as much as you can? Are you finding as many deals as you can? Are you starting to think outside the box if you haven't already? I'd just like to know if anybody is where I am right now, and I think there's a few of you out there that are thinking ahead and trying to make things a little more efficient, a little more safe, a little less costly. I know there's a few of you out there. Alright, so my phone got a little bit too warm and shut off, so I had to step out onto the back deck and cool it off. And while I was out there, folks, it's a very clear night out. And something at about, I'm going to say about 1 o'clock up in the sky, it was a round flash, folks. A round flash, way up. And it was only for a split second. And there was an airport light a few towns over. And I thought maybe I just caught a glimpse of it hitting a cloud. I didn't see any clouds, but a glimpse of it hitting a cloud, which would make it that way. And I stood there and it didn't come back around, folks. I have no idea what that was. But that brings me to mind, am I the only one that when I get up in the morning and turn on my phone that say, okay, well, they didn't shut communications down? Do you get up in the morning or in the night and turn a light switch on and say, okay, we still have power, they haven't hit our electrical grid? Or am I the only one that thinks that way? Because nothing would surprise me. Nothing would surprise me anymore. I don't know. It's so uncertain now, folks. It's like anything can happen. We don't know what's going to happen, if it will happen, when it will happen. But for me, it's like anything can happen at any time. And it's I don't know, it's scary times, folks. Scary times. And if anybody out there is not worried about or concerned about what's coming or what may come, and then I'd kind of like to have your peace of mind, and if you wouldn't mind sharing that with me. Now, if you have a peace of mind because you're all set up and you know if anything happens that you're all set, perfect. So I think all we've got is each other, folks. There's a lot of support here for each other. A lot of good ideas floating around. A lot of nice emails, folks. Thank you very much. We're kind of building our own widespread community, right? We've got people all over the place, all over the world, and I'm hearing a little bit of this and a little bit of that from their countries, and it's about the same all across the world, everywhere, folks. So hang in there, hang in there. If you want, you can like, share, and subscribe. I'd appreciate that. And somebody asked me how come I weren't doing more prepper and shit hit the fan videos. Well, I'm trying to combine it all together: homesteading off grid, foraging, cooking, and shit hit the fan and prepping all at once, So, because it's all the same thing, right? Learning how to cook outside on a rocket stove is if you are forced to cook outside on the rocket stove because you can't afford propane or electric, or you can't get either one. If you already have a rocket stove and you've got it there, right? You can still cook. So that's a skill, folks. That's a skill. All right, I've got to go to bed. But I don't know what that strange light was. That was like really weird. So good night. Tell me what your thoughts are. If you don't want to say so on here, you can always say so in email, right? I always post my email down below each video. So good night, folks. Steadfast.